once more, do not forget to continue to add into your, passage Josh.
Hello. Testing, testing. Okay. My organ has betrayed me, but my God has not. So he gave me a metal one. Do you want to see my pancreas? It's clipped onto my belt. No? Okay. My name is Paxton, and my chronic illness is, unfortunately, the butt of many tasteless jokes. Now, I'm sure you could probably take a gander at all the equipment adorning my body and give a pretty good guess at what disease I have. Or you may be able to guess because you know which disease is joked about on social media and viral memes and even a few songs and shows. You have probably made a joke about my disease. I'll give you a few paragraphs to guess what it is. My life has been altered very, very much by this disease. The first thing that some notice is that I do have lots of tubing going into my body. I also wear a device called a CGM, and I beep. There is lots of beeping. It's fair to say I find myself facing many trials and tribulations from this chronic illness. Sometimes my tubing gets whipped out in my sleep, or I can't attend field trips for fear my blood sugar might drop low trying to keep up with the fast pace. When I face these things, I like to tell myself that this is just a momentary trial and I need to do my best to be positive. I often find myself reciting the story in the Bible of a man named Job. This story makes me happy because it shows a man who is very strong, facing many hardships, and God rewarded him twofold. I like to think that one day God might reward me twofold, like Job. Of course, I did not choose type 1. Diabetes chose me. I guess you could say my blood is just sweeter than everyone else's. Unfortunately for me, this is not a game of Candyland, and it certainly isn't sweet, unless you ask the mosquitoes. Many people assume diabetes is just something you get from eating too much, but this is a falsehood spread by ignorant people. I was born with the genes that cause this disease, and I almost died from it too. So you are not allowed to pretend that this is my fault or anyone else's. I have type 1 diabetes, formerly known as juvenile diabetes, meaning I was born with this illness hiding inside my body, waiting to attack my pancreas. It unlocked when I was 11. The type of diabetes that the jokes are spreading about is type 2 diabetes, otherwise known as insulin resistance, and I do not have that. Now that that's out of the way, I can tell the story of how it started in PE. I'm sure it's no shock to any of you, I'm no athlete. But in 6th grade, even my dying organ could have outrun me. I could not keep up with the other kids, and every day was agony trying to walk and move. I was losing weight, and I had no appetite. I didn't know, but at the time, my blood sugar was around 600. For context, the normal blood sugar is around 100 or 98. It's no wonder I couldn't do anything, and it's a miracle I didn't die. As this was going on, my parents took me to the hospital several times. Each time I was diagnosed with something innocuous and easily treatable. We were made to feel silly for coming to the hospital, but the doctors were missing something big. When I awoke on Valentine's morning, I collapsed and vomited. My dad rushed me to the hospital, determined to find the cause. Only then, after my 3rd or 4th emergency room trip, did the doctors poke my finger and discover that I was dying. Suddenly, there were new words and medical terms flying around the room, but I couldn't catch them. I was in and out of consciousness for a while, but none of these new words held any meaning to me. needles, lancets, glucometry, insulin, vials, diabetic ketoacidosis, continuous glucose monitor. Is any of this real? The walls in the hospital were one shade of blue, and I stared at those walls for hours. I will forever hate the color blue, because whenever I see it, all I can think of is those walls. I had multiple IVs sticking out of my arms, and they tested my blood sugar every 30 minutes. My fingers were bruised for months from poking them, and I couldn't walk. Whenever I touched something, it was painful on my poor bruised fingers. My skin was so sensitive and unhealthy, turning shades of blue and purple with every poke. They also didn't allow me to eat while I was there, so I was starving. I was out of school for a few weeks while I adjusted to my new life. I had to be trained on how to give myself insulin shots and how to test my own blood sugar. I had to learn to count carbohydrates before every meal. There was a device I had to attach to my body to monitor my blood sugar. It was all so very much. And of course, there was paperwork that had to be filled out by doctors and school staff before I could return to school. During that completely overwhelming time, I was very lonely. Very few people texted me. I was, however, thankful for and who texted me to ask if I was okay. I think my diagnosis was scary and confusing to my classmates. I'm definitely sure that they didn't understand. Even though it was no one's fault that they didn't check on me, I was still very lonely. My biggest friend was Jesus, and I'm so thankful I went to service and learned about him so I wasn't alone. Even to this day, I'm so thankful for St. for teaching me about God and deepening my faith. After I went back to school, I tried to do something big. I educated my class on my new circumstances, and when I pulled out my needles to demonstrate the shots I would need, a certain classmate, may have renewed his fear of needles. He passed right out. His head hit the floor, and suddenly the ambulance was taking him away. He was fine in the end, but that scared me so much. He passed out because he saw the needle I had to use before every meal. I remember at first people thought he was joking and hadn't actually passed out. Good times. Thank you. Luckily, I had an amazing support system at school. My friends, didn't treat me any differently, and they were very understanding of my new needs. Even Miss Umberger, or as I call her, Miss Umby, helped me very much. She allowed me to keep low treatments in a room for moments when my blood sugar dropped. If you've seen me at all, which I hope you have because I'm in your class, you'll notice that I always have my phone with me. I use it to monitor my blood sugar. It's a medical device. Please do not say the following if you see it. It's not a cellular device. Can I watch YouTube? Can I use it? Why do you have that? Do you play Blockbuster in class? Etc. I promise you are not original. I have heard you guys ask all those questions and more. I also promise if you ask where I have it, I will make up a fake story about a shark bite or something, because I have talked far too much about diabetes for a lifetime after this speech. Now, for the worst part of diabetes, I can't eat sugar or carbs. I know, the agony is awful. No, stop, please don't cry, it's gonna be okay. Honestly, not being able to eat what I want is definitely the hardest thing about this condition, especially when I see my friends at lunch eating cupcakes and cookies every day. When the closest thing to a cookie I can eat is a sweet potato. Unfortunately, sweet potatoes have carbs, so that was a lie, and I can't eat those either. I can't eat pizza at a party. I can't stop for ice cream after school. The bread you buy to make your sandwiches, that's a big no for me. You may say that a diabetic can eat whatever they want, that they just have to dose insulin for it, but I'm not comfortable with that. So for now, I will pass on the Snickers, I will politely decline the sub sandwiches, and I will live a life of non-diabetic blood sugars fueled by my own good choices and determination. Back to that support system. I am fortunate to be blessed with a family who has tons of experience with autoimmune diseases. Before I was diagnosed and went through my own medical things, my family was already fighting their own chronic illnesses. My mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2022. She's that beautiful lady right there holding the phone.
I told you not to do that.
Give her a wave. I love her very much. She's wonderful. And my brother was diagnosed with Addison's disease in 2023. I joined the autoimmune gang in 2024 with my own diagnosis. Fun fact, my mom, brother, and I were all diagnosed in February. My brother and I were even diagnosed on the same day, February 14th, Valentine's Day. It's safe to say we are thoroughly convinced that day is cursed. Secretly, though, I think the curse is broken now because we've had two whole Valentines without any diagnoses. Fingers crossed. Through my years of hardship, I have learned many things. I have learned that I am strong. I have seen that I can do hard things. And I have also learned that fear serves no purposes. I used to feel that I would lose everything, that things would keep getting worse. But I didn't lose everything. No. It's quite the contrary. I've gained so much. My family and I are stronger, as together we have gained strength to thrive under circumstances. And I have gained my faith and love for God and Jesus, something I cherish above all else. I have also gained the ability to have joy. I try to find joy in all the moments I am fortunate enough to experience. Joy is a gift from God, so do not be afraid. Never be afraid. You are not alone.